time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and a hearty shout out to all of you in the Rabyd Nation. Welcome one and all, whether you are a paid for citizen, whether you are just a tourist that is subscribed, or you're just looking across the border wondering whether to immigrate to such a wonderful land as the Rabyd Nation. Welcome one and all to the stream. Welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to a Friday night, where I spend most of Friday nights reacting to somebody, but I think on the last Friday night of the month, I may have guests and discussions and all this other stuff. And so thank you very much. Appreciate all of you being here. Tonight we're going to actually review a little bit of an old video. This is a video that I was going to do last week in honor of Easter, but then Paulogia dropped his Habermas video, and I, of course, was obligated by my own promise to myself to react to it, so I did that last week instead. What you have with J. Warner Wallace here and Sean McDowell is probably a pretty typical defense of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ that apologists like to offer up. But it's J. Warner Wallace, so it makes it even more fun. So, and oddly enough, this video is about 10 months old, but that actually is kind of surprising, seeing what happened to J. Warner Wallace from Prophet of Zod. I don't know, it's got to be a couple of years now ago, where he got reamed and cleaned by Prophet of Zod about his origin story. So, and then other people kind of chimed in, and yeah, I'm kind of actually it's a problem. So there we go. There is a goal in chat, and I see that people are already firing that up. So there we go with that. So we'll see what happens there. I do want to make a couple of announcements regarding stuff. Tomorrow night, I do believe, is movie night. I forgot to load up that image. Hold on. Yeah, I want to make sure that movie night at the Discord tomorrow is advertised at 9 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be the movie Death Proof. And so if you want to hang out and enjoy some good company while watching a movie tomorrow night, then there you go. There you go. And also, the last Friday of this month, Earl's going to try to educate this old man on feminism and the red pill. So you might want to stay tuned for that. That might be a lot of fun, and I hope it's also very educational. So those are a couple of announcements. Let's see. I think that's it. Let's see. I got to do a quick roll call here. God grief. You people are already donating to the hat fund. You're getting way ahead of me. Let's see. Blossom was here. Rimmer was here earlier. Allegedly Fred is here. Oh, boy. Well, that has got to be the fastest the hat has ever been achieved. Ever. Felicity. Felicia by nature is here. Cranky Elder Gods have sent their emissary. Elizabeth is here. Martin is here. Oh, boy. Sure I haven't missed it. Paul made it. Michael from Germany has made it. Let's see, Decibel is here. Dragon Rider is here. I'll make sure I get it. The mighty Philbert is here as well. Early hat. Okay, we're going for the early hat. All right. I don't know. Sandals is here. I think it doesn't make sense. Well said. Ron from Indian Lake. Okay, there. All right. All right. Well, now I gotta do all the starred stuff in my chat here. So we got Decibel for the hat fund, Felicia by Nature for the hat fund. We got allegedly Fret for the early hat. Those Australian dollars rolling in. We got Mighty Philbert, have a Coke on me, early hat. Oh, thanks. Decibel again. Got the hit before he starts the video. Okay, this is what the objective has been the entire time. All right. Well, the winner is something I just threw in today. So this is going to be very interesting. I suppose it's equally as funny. So there we go. There we go. My patriotic cowboy hat on already. And then we got Cranky Elder God with the donated memberships. So there are 10 more citizens of the Rabyd Nation, whether you wanted to be one or not. The elder gods have spoken. Let's see who got those. Eric Shima, John Henderson, Alex, Red Rooster Experience. Oh wow, my contacts is Christina Karma, Whiskey Foxtrot, Karma Hansen, Laser Anthron, and Henrim. Okay, outstanding. Well, there we go. I don't know what the current exchange rate is between Australian dollars and all that either. So, well, there we go. But you guys got your wish. You got the hat before. Yeah, that's a new record. It is a new record for a hat for me. And I don't know. We'll have to, if I get another 5, I'll change to whatever the hat is at that point too. So you just conspired to get the hat. I believe that. Hey, Dave. Good to see you, Dave. Up and about and doing stuff. Get Ed a donkey. Big Macs. Oh. Okay, so 1 Australian dollars equals 71 cents. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, there we go. Yeah, I mean, I get the donkey thing. I could do that. So, but there were also those things that Texas Cowboy shirts have. I don't know what they're called. Okay, yes. All right. Okay. Well, let's get into the video for today. But this is actually from Cold Case, the Cold Case channel that's run by J. Warner Wallace. Sean McDowell is the setup man in this one, so he just kind of introduces. No, I'm probably not. I am just the grandmaster of the fluffle. And you guys have immunized me from speaking anything dogma about fangs today, thanks to the cowboy hat. So, yeah, just a naughty boy. That's probably true. I'm getting older, so I'm rapidly becoming a dirty old man, I guess. But I try to avoid that accusation as much as possible, although it's probably true in my brain. But there you go. I just know having a dirty mind makes regular conversations much more interesting. So, but all Sean McDowell does is he kind of sets this one up. The first part of how do we know Jesus was dead is answered inside, I think it's Wallace's office. And then he's going to cut to one of his presentations he gives in his church presentations. And we're going to see if any of this is convincing. I just want to ask the question, is any of this answer the question, how do we know Jesus died and rose again? Does this actually answer the question? So we're going to see what happens.
The resurrection stuff. So let's.
All right. We're going to start. Restart. Crank up the volume. Here we go. All right, Sean, take it away.
What about the actual evidence to the resurrection stuff? So let's start with this. You've examined dozens or probably hundreds of crime scenes. Right. So you know when somebody's dead or when they're not dead. How do we actually know Jesus died the way the Gospels describe it by crucifixion?
Yeah, that's always I think an important. For me, I had a couple of ways of explaining the resurrection as an atheist. Either they were wrong about him being dead, he just comes back from being badly beaten and he passes out, maybe he appears to be dead, but he's not really dead. That was one possibility. But as you read through the account, you get little pieces of hidden science that after you've worked homicides and assaults...
I got to stop there. Little hidden pieces of science. What do you mean? um, um, little, yes, you're ahead of me. Little pieces of science. So, like when you read the Bible, folks, you got to remember there's little pieces of science in the Bible. Like they'll use the defense that science isn't a tech. The Bible isn't a science book when we're talking about creation or all this other stuff. But the moment they want to talk about the resurrection, the death and resurrection of Jesus, there's little pieces of science in it, according to J. Warner Wallace. So I just want everybody to realize that as you're reading your Bible, you need to find little pieces of science. Yes, hide the science. We don't want people to figure stuff out. Hey, Triple E, thanks, man. I appreciate it. We've already gotten to the nom nom forever. That's a beautiful statement. I really love that statement. That's actually kind of going. I kind of like that one. So, zombie science, yeah. Yes, it's hidden science. There's little pieces of hidden science, Ron, inside the gospel accounts. The sciences are right next to the evidences. Oh, chat, you never fail me. You never fail me. I have one of the best chats in YouTube. I don't always read the Bible. When I do, I never find pieces of science. Yeah, it's kind of like the piece we're building by aliens. Yes, I'd agree with that. Is hidden science? Hey, Katie. Is hidden science Philbert to fuzzy math? Probably. Vampires. Oh, yeah, it's more like pseudoscience. Science predicts the Bible all the time. So I just had to make a note that what we're looking for when we're talking about Jesus is the hidden sciences. It's kind of like evidences, hidden sciences. So here we go. So there you go. Science hidden in the room right now. It could be. It could be. Oh, you can feel the science. There we go. Yeah, see, this is awesome. Awesome. All right. I hope people who watch this later have the chat replay on because they're going to love it.
You begin to say, well, I actually think this looks like my casework. So, for example, there's a scene in the Gospel of John where John describes the thieves on the cross with Jesus, right?
Okay.
And he says the two of the three people who were crucified at the same time, the thieves, are still alive at the end of the day, and they have to break their legs in order to expedite their execution, right? Well, why wouldn't I think that all three are still alive? How is it that three are hung at the same time, yet only two are alive, and this one's supposed to be, maybe he's not dead. That's why the suspicion was there for me to begin with. But there's a piece of hidden science in that passage because it says that the guard came and stabbed Jesus in the side. And
just like, man, the little pieces of science in the Bible. Yeah, it does feel badly acted. I wanted to make that note too. But how do I express what I feel is so wrong here about what J. Warner Wallace is saying? He's referring to the Gospels as if they're history, like he's referring to them as if they're accurate accounts. And one of the things that infuriates me the most about J. Warner Wallace is he should know better. He should know an examination of the historicity of the gospel accounts and who wrote them, which we don't know. And we don't know what sources that those writers used to gather up those stories. It's like they're just gathering up stories that the church told, and some of them seem to have a political agenda. He knows full damn well that if he tried to submit the Gospels as evidence in a court case, it would be rejected as hearsay. He knows that. He knows that it has all the earmarks of hearsay, and it would not be accepted as history, like as an eyewitness account. He knows that for sure, but he always acts like this is history, like it's the truth, it's an accurate account. And I know he does other videos to justify that. Maybe I'm being a little unfair and I should react to one of those, but I'm sorry. I think any defense of the death and resurrection of Jesus should start with a preface. Oh, hold on. Here, I've got this pause. So I'm gonna take this down for a second. Here, let me play this other clip that I think that expresses my thing even more so. There you go. So yes. I borrowed that from Paulogia. Thanks, Paul. So there you go. But yes, like we got to remember as we're looking through this whole thing that there is, for the Bible tells me so. It is literally everything J. War Wallace refers to in this video. I swear, I could play that 100 million times. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of my system right away because this is what we're going to be dealing with pretty much all night. So there you go.
Water came out of his body, and they saw the separation of blood and water. And I thought, I recognize that because there's an attribute that occurs when you suffer cardiac arrest. It's called effusion. Okay. And either the water builds up around your heart or it builds up in your lungs, depending on your body placement. You have to have that kind of shock, circulatory shock, and cardiac arrest to get that kind of effusion. And it.
Okay, so he's going into the whole cardiac arrest theory, the blood and water being kind of symbolic of the medical condition that they had. Now, I don't think that experience in crucifixion might have been all that uncommon. If they speared a crucifixion, they probably would have got that response a lot. So I don't think that's like unusual as much as apologists like to make it seem. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. So yeah, they were later. They were there by crucifixion, but they got their legs broke. So, and Wallace is going to make a big deal out of that point, but it's once again. So there you go. There you go. Assume that the Gospels were accurate accounts. Yeah, and I think that's the problem with him. Like he even assumed that they were accurate accounts. So this acting is giving Ed Wood for a photo money. Yes. No, this is about 10 months old. The problem I have with it is J. Warner Wallace is still in business. Like after the expose of the fact that his origin story is a little bit sus. But then I realize that Christians are always looking, like they don't look at counter apologists. But J. Warner Wallace, in my mind, is completely discredited as a shill at this point. Mostly because, you know, he made the claim for many, many years that when I took my cold case detective things and analyzed the eyewitness accounts of Jesus, you know, then that's when I became a person of faith. That's when I became a Christian. But the timeline doesn't line up. He became a Christian probably long before he became a cold case detective. And so, yeah. So there you go. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? I have no idea, Cranky. I have no idea. See you later, Mike Philbert. Glad you stopped by. Appreciate it. Tor Johnson is actually Jesus. That might be it. That man should have. Hey. Yes. Yes, Paulogia lives. It is a cool jingle. That's why I use it. He actually gives you permission to use it if you want to. I think he's done that a couple times. Yes, Paulogia is considered a saint. He's Saint Paulogia to the rest of you. Just so you know, there's a couple others too. So, but Saint Paulogia, yes. I think I've given Shannon Q a sainthood too, as well. So Shannon Q is a patron saint of the Fluffle. So there you go. I'll handle out sainthoods, whoever deserves them. Yeah, they are credulous. I think Sean's sincere. He's a sincere apologist in that he believes the stuff. He just hasn't realized that it's bullshit. Okay. J. Warner Wallace, yes, he's a con man. He he saw an opportunity to take his experiences, his time as a detective, and, jump into apologetics where all you have to do is have this manufactured authority, and then all you have to do is speak with a lot of confidence, and he has both of those in spades. So it's like he's got that, and then he throws out, I was a cold case detective and I've solved the cold case of Jesus, kind of thing. And it's like, no, you haven't. Okay, so no, you haven't. Yes, they are real. There is only two sets of those that I know of in existence, Triple E, and one of them is on I Killed Earl's background and where she live streams, and the other one's in mine. You can actually see them over my shoulder. So, but yes, they are real, and I think Earl has a pair of them, and I have a pair of them. They were a gift to me from the Fluffles, so, and Earl bought hers for herself so she could do that. So, he typoed it. I don't know. I don't know. But he's going on and on about this, how we know Jesus was dead because of the blood and water out of it coming out of his side. That is symptomatic of cardiac arrest, I do believe. But I think that experience would have been very familiar if Roman soldiers were used to killing crucifixion victims early with a spear. Everybody would have probably known about that phenomenon from not just Jesus, but multiple victims. So it's not a flex. I don't really dispute that Jesus at some point, if he existed, would have died. Like, I really don't dispute that.
Coroners, I've been to autopsies where coroners will actually show me what this looks like. So I think in the end, that's a piece of hidden science, because if they stabbed that side of Jesus' body and they saw the separation of water, that's probably pleural effusion from his lungs. But that means he'd have to be dead in order to show you that kind of separation of water.
And John didn't know what he was
Well,
describing.
it's not only
it was
John,
Luke who was
yes.
the doctor.
Well, get this, John didn't know it, and I don't even think that Luke knew it based on what he knew back in the day. Here's why I say that. If you read the earliest readers of Scripture, which are the church fathers, like Origen and Tertullian, Jerome, these people were writing about that scene in the Gospel of John, and when they got to the separation of blood and water, they said it's got to be some kind of a metaphor or something.
Okay, I can confirm this. I've read some of the church fathers on this, and they make a bunch of metaphorical statements about it, and they try to hyper spiritualize it. So he's not spewing bullshit there, but it's just like what he's trying to do at this point is he's trying to say these people didn't really understand that, and then later on we're going to understand the medical nature of this. I don't buy the notion that other crucifixions victims hadn't been speared in the side to kill them quicker or to make sure that they were dead. I am fairly certain that all crucifixion victims were probably speared at some point just to make sure. It was a barbaric time with a barbaric form of execution. I don't think that they would have. I even imagine that the two guys, if they broke their legs to crucify them faster, to have the suffocation effect happen more instantaneously, they would have also been speared as well. So I don't think that this is something that, Wallace is trying to make us like, this is all, for us later when we have the medical knowledge. I think that's like horse shit. So like, I don't think that that's, I got the cowboy hat on, so I'm going to start using some cowboy references. So, but yeah, I think that's horse hockey to sit there and assume that God was thinking ahead and trying to, do the thing. So, so that later on apologists could, like J. Warner Wallace, could sit there and say, yeah, look at all this medical stuff, this forensic stuff that's in the Bible, this hidden pieces of science. So, so there you go. Hey, Robin. Yeah, bring your own boobs. There you go. It's Wallace and Sean McDowell in the same video, and I always think that's better with some sort of controlled substance or non-controlled substance, whatever you do. So John the Baptist and Jesus might have had the same. That actually is a. By the way, Sandals, that actually is a theory, that John the Baptist. So yeah, I'm fairly certain that crucifixions were common enough that they saw this happen with other people. Like this is Wallace is trying to make this into a big deal, like, oh, the blood and water thing. And yes, I can confirm that the church fathers did make a big deal out of this, but not for the way Wallace is saying. They were trying to spiritualize why it's blood and water. Like they may not have known the medical reason, but the church fathers did for quite a while try to spiritualize this and make it into some spiritual connotation. There you go. There you go. There you go. Right, no one would be on board. Yeah, probably. It's not 3 entities, but it could be 4. Yes. Yes, that is the point. Like you got to remember that part of the story, part of the myth surrounding Jesus's crucifixion, is that they had to kill him early because of the Sabbath. The Jewish leaders needed to take him down for the Sabbath. They went to Pilate and all this stuff to get him taken down because they didn't want to leave crucifixions up during the Sabbath, right? They wanted to clean it up. Given what we actually know from other people's accounts of Pontius Pilate, I am fairly certain that Pontius Pilate would have listened to that request and given them the middle finger back and left the victims up. Like Pontius Pilate is much more humanized in the Gospels because they had to than he is as he's recorded by like Josephus and others. Like he's not a nice guy, and he very rarely respected Jewish traditions when he was governor. So it's like I am fairly certain that if they had made that request, he would have, given the nature of what other people say about Pontius Pilate, he would have given them the middle finger and moved on. So and so yeah. Yeah, David Bowie would have been a good example of Pontius Pilate, especially in the labyrinth. So, yes. Yeah. I mean, they didn't understand it, but that doesn't mean they didn't experience it. Like, I am fairly certain, like a lot of crucifixion victims probably got stabbed in the side with a spear and had blood and water come out. It's just that the church wants to take that and spiritualize it and give it some sort of spiritual meaning. And that's all that's happening here with J. Warner Wallace. Yeah, I don't know. The water in Jesus' lungs was wine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But that's what all Wallace is doing here. He's trying to make a big deal out of this.
Right? It's like it's got to be the water baptism it symbolizes. Mm-hmm. It must symbolize something because it can't be water that came out of him. Why in the world would water? Everyone in the first 500 years cannot understand what the water is. And I don't think John understood it either, unless John's so clever that he writes in this.
Of course.
that he's going to put this little secret that no one's even going to understand medically for 1,000 years, hoping that...
Okay, it's not a little secret there, Wallace. I think you're overdoing that part a little bit. The ancients had an understanding that if you poke a pokey stick under somebody's rib up into their rib cage, that their blood is going to come out. And if water comes out as well as blood, that wasn't an uncommon occurrence. Okay. Like this notion that like this is this little secret hidden pieces of science tidbit is just laughable to me. Like, how the hell were you a detective? Like at this point, I've got to ask the question, how the hell Wallace was even a detective? If he was one, somebody should review his cases. Like, but yes, I mean, they weren't stupid. That's kind of my point. They're not stupid. They could at least examine nature and report what it did. They may not have understood what was all behind it, but the idea that this was some sort of unique little science tidbit that God snuck into the Word of God, the inspired Word, no. All the writer of John is doing is writing down something that they probably knew to happen during crucifixions. Like it. The links that apologists will go to, on the one hand, they'll sit there and talk about how smart ancient people are, and then they want to sit here and act like how stupid they are. And it's just, I don't understand this. I just don't get it. Other than you got to shill. And if you're going to shill, you got to keep moving the ball underneath the cups, and you got to keep changing it, so. Okay. if water and blood are common tie, then what is the metaphysical? Yeah, like that's kind of my problem with this, because he's trying to say that this is special, but I don't think water and blood coming out of a spearing victim, like even during war, when you have that on occasion where somebody, like, cardiac arrest during battle is quite a common experience even to today. And so surely somebody stabbed somebody in the chest once and blood and water came out because the guy had had a heart attack 5 seconds before. Like, it's not, this isn't this, these people knew what would happen if they did certain things. And Wallace is trying to make this out like this is this hidden piece of forensic science that John somehow snuck in there when everybody wasn't looking. And it's like, no, I can think of several reasons why he would do that that have nothing to do with metaphysical nonsense and have nothing to do with God is seeing forensic science 2,000 years in the future. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons that that could be in there. So, oh, it's not that long, Fred. It's not that long. It's only 10 minutes. So this is just the death part. So, all right, there we go. Oh, we're having a good time. J. Warner Wallace is trying to convince us that there's something special about the blood and water that came out of Jesus. But other than that,
someday when they discover it, it makes them look legitimate. So I had a problem with that. When I first read that and did that investigation, I thought, okay, what I know as a homicide detective, I'm pretty convinced that Jesus was dead.
Interesting. Now I know there's
yes, and Felicia reminds us all, J. Warner Wallace was a detective. He was not a forensic scientist. So when he talks forensics, he's kind of talking out his ass in a lot of ways. He's not really qualified to make a lot of these statements about this, even in a forensic side. He would not be the guy testifying in court as to the cause of death. And so Wallace has used this "I was a cold case detective" shtick for quite some time. And a lot of times he does say stuff that he is really not qualified to say. And he'll talk about biblical scholarship. And this infuriates me about a lot of apologists, is they talk out of their area. Frank Turek does this. He's got a degree in philosophy, but he'll talk astrophysics. You got Inspiring Philosophies, Mike Jones will sit there and talk about like archaeology and the conquest. And it's like, dude, you're not even qualified to talk about that. Like, like they're experts. So yeah, you got to watch these guys and J. Warner Wallace does this a lot. He will talk out of his field. So he talks out of his field a lot. So, I don't know. Like he's a supposed cold case detective. He solves old cases. So yeah. But these guys do this a lot. Like they talk out of their area. So yeah, like Dr. Kent Hovind. Yeah, like yeah, right. Okay. So there you go.
even other evidence that Jesus died from sources like outside, like Tacitus and Josephus. But just examining the scriptures, that was compelling evidence.
Think about this. For you and I mean, if you...
No. He likes to hang out with refrigerators, yeah. Hey, thanks, Josh. Wow, another 4 memberships. Look at that. There are a lot of rabid citizens now. A lot of rabbits. I hope some of you noticed I added 2 of the emojis back in. We're going to get some new ones, hopefully. But but thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. So, yeah. Yeah, I saw the case of Jesus by misrepresenting my expertise. Yeah, that would be a more honest. Yes, he does. Hey, Tyler, how you doing, man? Oh, yeah, it's forced immigration. We're do the opposite of the United States. We're forcing people to become part of the Rabid Nation. Like we are forcing you to become citizens. Yes, you're still an illegal alien. That's fine. We don't really have illegal aliens here, Paul, in the Rabid Nation. So, like, you can become a tourist just by subscribing. So there's 3 status. You're either a citizen of some sort, and there are 5 different statuses of citizen, from council all the way down to just citizen. So, and a few in between, and then you are a tourist if you subscribe. So there you go. authority and fair fallacy, yes. A lot of that in apologetics, especially J. Warner Wallace. Hey, there she is. It is the lovely, wonderful, smart, intelligent, beautiful, one of the smartest women I know. I killed Earl. Welcome, Earl. So there you go. Yeah. Yes, the lap in which our Lord naps has arrived. So there you go. There you go. You're a terrorist if you're an atheist. No, not really. All right. So they've gotten to the point in this video. There you go. Where he's like, oh, we see all these things in the scripture that prove that Jesus was dead.
You're not in the job that I'm in. How many times do people touch dead bodies in their regular day? Not very often. And if your family members died, you wouldn't be wrapping them up to get them ready for burial. But in the first century, you took care of your own. You couldn't call the funeral home. You couldn't call a coroner. These things didn't exist. You wrapped up your own dead for burial. So we don't understand what the signs of death are. There's actually a triad. There's three things that happen when your heart stops pumping. It's called the mortis triad. And what happens is, number one, you start to cool down. So if you've got a dead body, the hot blood is not circulating through their body anymore, they will feel cooler to the touch. So I can't imagine you could manipulate Jesus' body as much as they say they did and not notice the decrease in temperature. Two, though, you start to get stiff. So one's called algor mortis, the second one is called rigor mortis, right? You start to get stiff. Now, we might not think about that, but they would certainly have noticed it. And the last one is really called liver mortis, and it's that you start to discolor based on where the blood settles. You see this bruising when you go to any death scene. I've seen it so many times.
Who know that apologetics could take you to something so morbid? But yeah, it's like, I'm fairly certain this is well-known stuff about death and how people die and the different signs that somebody is actually dead, like that. And the ancients would have known those too. They would have understood that. Like, they didn't have a complete misunderstanding of how this worked. Probably much more common for them to deal with dead people more directly. Like, you don't have mortuary science, you don't have morgues for a lot of people, you don't, like, a lot of this was handled in-house by family. So yes. So oh, okay, well, there you go, Earl. My deepest condolences. Oh, it's one of the best hats in the game. Okay, there we go. There we go. See? Yes. The colder you are, the deader you are. Yes. Yeah. Where were Joseph and Mary in the Gospels when Jesus kicked the bucket? Supposedly Mary was being taken by another disciple. So I don't know what taken care of means, but there you go. Yes, 101 Crime Show College. Yes, there you go.
And that's something you can't really miss. So I just can't imagine they would miss the mortis triad. You and I don't ever think about it.
They knew when a body was dead
when someone. Maybe they're just hallucinating this. You know, they wanted.
Okay, so that's the part about how we know Jesus was dead. Now, I don't know. I got to play it again. I'm going to pull this down, and I got to play the other jingle that I have for this that I borrowed from some other YouTuber. See if you can recognize who it is. There you go. There we go. But yes, the largest problem with all of that, if I can be very, very blunt, is you're treating the gospel accounts as if they're historical. And we don't know that for sure at all. So yes. Yeah, he's kind of like, this is relevant. And I'm like, no, I don't understand how they think that this, like, as if atheists can't figure this out. Like, yeah, I kind of acknowledge that they knew death when they saw it. Okay, and I don't really dispute that at some point Jesus, if he existed, died. Like, everybody dies. Okay, like, death is I think somebody said it was a mundane claim. Like, the fact that somebody dies is a mundane claim at a certain point. So that's not the issue. The issue is the resurrection from the dead. Okay, and so there you go. Oh, yeah, a check from the IRS. You got money back? That is a nice surprise. Yeah. Remedial Bible 030. Yes. Yeah, he does. Oh, yeah. For the Bible tells me so jingle. I borrowed that from Paulogia. So I he's used me in cameos, so I think I'm entitled. So there you go. I think he gives it away for free anyway. All right. So now we're going to get to the part where he wants to talk about how the different things
How bad that Jesus died. They thought he was the
couldn't, it couldn't be a hallucinate. They were delusional. Like, this is his normal shtick where he goes through the different naturalistic possibilities that it could be. Yes, nobody is arguing that the crucifixion is legal, is lethal. No. The claim is whether he had magical superpowers. This is correct, Cranky. This is what we're talking about. So now we're at the point where we're back inside the church, and J. Warner Wallace is giving what is his typical spiel when it comes to the resurrection of trying to knock down naturalistic explanations. He's already at this point, because you can see it up on the clipboard, he's already taken they were wrong or they were lying off the board. I don't say they were wrong. I say they were mistaken. And that's a very real possibility. And they never really deal with that one effectively. So, but now they were delusional. I want to ask you a question as he goes through this presentation. Let's see if he actually answers the question of whether they were delusional or not. And I think what he's really dealing with, and he's going to straw man something here, because he's going to say something that I think critics don't actually say. So it's something that he's going to get there. So gospel that's actually a valid one. I do not know. I would have to look up the video, but he does this everywhere he's invited. If you go to his channel, he has tons of videos like this where he's speaking in front of a church crowd, and you can tell it's different churches because the background's different, the pulpit's different, the lectern is different. He does this a lot. So this is just the one he released for his channel. So get your waiters ready. Yes. So here we go.
They just imagined it was Jesus. Remember Mary? She's in the garden tomb, right? And she sees the gardener. Oh, no, it's not the gardener. It's Jesus. No, Mary, you knucklehead. It's a gardener. You just want it to be Jesus. So you've imagined it to be Jesus. Even some of these early reports, it seems that Jesus looks slightly different, right? I mean, Peter's by himself in at least two of the accounts.
Okay, so I think this is the problem. I think this is why Prophet of Zod, when he exposed J. Warner Wallace, it was damaging to his apologetics career, because I noticed he toned it down for about a year, but he's back. The problem with these guys is they don't have to have credibility, Elizabeth. All they have to do is have a lot of confidence. And what J. Warner Wallace does is that manufactured authority of, I used to be a cold case detective. I've examined the evidence for Jesus's resurrection and death. And yep, I think it happened. And so you have this kind of sort of authority, and you couple it with a lot of extreme confidence, because I will give J. Warner Wallace one thing. He always speaks very confidently, like he knows what he's talking about. And that's why he's credible to any Christian who's sitting in front of him. They're looking for reinforcement. They want their confirmation bias. They want that thing stroked. And J. Warner Wallace does that very well. Does he do it with a lot of bullshit? Absolutely. But a good salesman can sell bullshit. This is kind of why my take on apologists. I've worked in retail for a long time. Okay. And the one thing I love is a good sales pitch. It's just very entertaining to me when somebody tries to sell me something. That said, I also recognize bullshit when I see it a lot more, because I realize it's a sales pitch. And that's exactly what J. Warner Wallace is doing here. He is selling the resurrection and the witnesses to the resurrection as if they are historical facts. He never, in this little clip, mentions the fact that the Gospels are questionable historicity. He never does that. He always assumes that they're historical. He's had fights with New Testament scholars, I think, once, where they said, yeah, you kind of, and he's like, well, that's confusing to people. We need to stop being confusing to people. And it's like, we just need to say that it's the word of God and that it's historically reliable. When you got these New Testament scholars, even in the faith, going, well, I'm not sure we could say that. But no, I don't think people realize that he has no credibility. They think he's credible because he has authority and he speaks confidently. This is true of apologists, preachers, evangelists, you name it. The church lives on this: speak with confidence, have the manufactured authority, and you're good. So, oh, he gets invited to a lot of places. You'd be surprised. Yes. Yeah, they don't need credibility. They just need to use social networks to promote themselves. That is very true. He is a new generation preacher. Yes, they will cheer anything that affirms their beliefs. That happens a lot, Kent. It does. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. Like you don't. Where did Jesus get his clothes? Yes. Where did Gardner naked? No, he didn't speak very confidently. That actually shook his confidence a bit because somebody had found out the truth about his origin, that he was a Christian mostly because of his wife's influence. Long before he became a cold case detective, became very clear. And at that moment, he was kind of running for cover. Like he had a problem, but he's kind of recovered. Like, this is only 10 months ago that he's pulling clips from. And I think the Prophet of Zod thing was a couple of years ago. So he's recovered because he just knows he has to keep doing it. There's enough people that still believe him that he will continue to get money to do what he's doing. And that's the issue. So there you go. What does Ed think about? Does Ed think about more or less taking the Bible literal views about Christianity? What do I think about that? I don't know. When I look at this in its real context, like when I look at the Gospels and what I think their real purpose was, they were just collecting the stories of Jesus. I don't think they were trying to be historically accurate. I think the community needed something. So I don't know if literal views of Christianity just get really messed up for me, I guess. I like a clarification about what you mean there, Sandals. Yes, it's slides and PowerPoint. So here we go.
He sees Jesus. He just wants him to be alive. I get it. You want it bad enough. There's nobody else there. Sure, you can imagine anything. I mean, the same is probably true for James. He felt bad about how he treated him when he was alive. He's by himself, at least in one account. And
I'd like to point out here, there's actually no evidence that James treated his brother Jesus poorly, not even in the Bible. Like, the only thing you have there is Jesus's family came once to try to take him away because they thought he was crazy, but there's no record of what James actually thought about Jesus before he converted. So there's that. That's just something that apologists like to say offhandedly, but there's no evidence for that. What he's doing is he's going through all the individual encounters and saying, yeah, we could see where this is, where people just want somebody to be alive so badly. You have post-grief hallucinations that are a very real thing. So he's kind of acknowledging here, I guess, that this is a possibility and we can get that, right? The problem I don't think he sees as he continues this presentation is that's all you need to start Christianity. You just need Mary Magdalene, Peter, and James to think very strongly that they saw Jesus after he was dead, and then all the rest of them who want to believe that just have to go along with it. Like, they don't have to actually see Jesus. They just have to, like, believe the authorities, particularly like Peter, who is very influential, James, who becomes very influential. You don't have to have that. what Wallace makes the mistake of is he tries to go into this group hallucination thing. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never took that. I'm not a big fan of the literal. So yeah. So you're seen dead bodies done investigating. Has everyone ever risen from the dead? Yes, that's a very key question, I think.
So he might have seen something he thought was true when it wasn't true. Then you get someone, though, like Saul, right? On the road to Damascus, of the people.
Yes, I heard that. Like he took it down because JWW threatened to sue. The problem is, I think Zod could have won the lawsuit. It just would have been very expensive. Like, I am sorry, there's some discrepancies in your story. And you have made this claim of I'm a cold case detective, and that's why I became a Christian for years. You've done that. And I honestly think Prophet of Zod, if he had a good attorney, could win that lawsuit, and J. Warren Wallace would have been discredited. But I understand why he did it. Like, there's a whole legal fight that could get very, very interesting. I think you could redo the video where you just asked J. Warren Wallace a bunch of questions, like, could you clarify this for me? Because this is what you said here, and this is what you said. Could you clarify this? And I think you could get away with that. So, but yeah. I think I typed somewhere there. I mean, taking the Bible, less historical view about Christianity, like people who are cultural Christians. I don't think in the early going of Christianity that you had like a cultural Christianity. Like you don't really see that until the Romans embraced Christianity. The Bible, and I'm not really sure I want to be culturally a Christian anyway. Like I don't buy that for the Western world either. I think the Western world is more shaped by the Enlightenment than it is actual Christianity. I think Christianity is just kind of piggybacked on some of the things that we have changed. Like it's amazing how Christianity has changed its morality to fit the world around it so many times. So, but like people who are cultural Christians who think Christianity benefits society in that way, I disagree with that. I think there's a far more downsides for being culturally a Christian because it gives you good reasons to hate people that you really shouldn't, even if that. So, yes, yeah, it's a sermon. So, yes. So, yeah, that's when people say God bless you when you sneeze. Yeah. But yeah, he's just going through the list. And then he wants to talk about Paul Saul. I'm going to preempt him here. Saul's own story in the book of Acts actually changes. So like his whole story about his encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus does change several times. So, yeah, it's not good testimony because if I put Paul on the stand on the basis of Acts, I would point out the discrepancy in his storytelling about his experience on the road to Damascus. Like you could literally do that because the book of Acts, you know, like I think one time it says, oh, people heard it but didn't see anything. And then the other one says nobody heard anything, but they saw a light. You know, like I would like, you can't seem to get your story straight here, Paul. Like even in the book of Acts, it's already said. So there you go. See you later, Kent. Appreciate you stopping by. Like, yeah. So he left out that there was a Turkish bathhouse. Yeah, that's probably so. Yeah, I really think that the story being changed, even in the book of Acts, like I think the writer of the book of Acts was just presenting things as he had heard them. The problem with that is Paul comes off kind of like changing his story on a regular basis. And I think that's kind of something that isn't emphasized enough, the fact that Paul himself changes his story in the book of Acts. So it's not something that people talk about as much as they probably should. And I've never really heard an apologist deal with it. They just quote like Paul saw him on the road to Damascus and he wanted, but you know, what Wallace is trying to say, well, why would Paul want Jesus to exist? Like that doesn't make any sense, but it's like his story is sus anyway. So, all right, I'm going to take my 2-minute break here. Hold on, did hold on. I'm going to take my quick 2-minute break here. And I will be back in a couple minutes. So I'll see you then. All right, I am back. All right. Alicia, you wish the presupposition positive? Opie was here. Okay. Speaking of which, seeing you mentioned the presupposition. Here you go. Once again, the lovely, wonderful I Killed Earl has done her thing, and here we go. So there you go. I saw this and I did laugh. I have to admit it. Yes. So there you go. The presupposition. I think it was Michael that remarked, or somebody remarked on Discord, that the middle pop needs to be removed, but Earl kind of said, I can't do it in my brain. So there you go. All right. All right, let's get back to Wallace, because my bullshit meter is getting to a certain level here. He's going through all the witnesses of Jesus. So here we go. So there you go. Yeah, everybody loves it. Yeah. I think presuppositionalists kind of play dead whenever they say, prove me wrong, bro. So there you go. But yeah. I don't know. As I'm going through this thing with Jay Warner, he's presupping that the Gospels are history. Like, he doesn't. When you think about presupposition, it's like, I don't have to prove this. You just have to accept it. There's a lot of that. So there you go.
He's the only one who sees.
Okay, so he's going through the Apostle Paul at this point. Let's see how well he does in proving that the resurrection happened.
But do you think he wants it to be Jesus? That's what's driving him? He wants Jesus to be alive because he feels bad? I don't think that's true for him. So
once again, you're treating Acts like history, and if Acts says it, it truly is, for the Bible tells me so. And once again, Paul doesn't seem to have the ability to keep his story straight later in the book of Acts. So yes, there's definitely presup. Yeah, it's presupping that Spider-Man is true, in a sense, yes. So there you go.
why is he seeing this? Then it gets weirder, right? More than one person at the same time having the same exact vision. Think about that. If I told you I had a dream, right? And I tell you the details of my...
Okay, now, first of all, nobody at this point, the arguments for naturalistic explanations when there's two more people in the room. I hate to break the news to Wallace, but the road to Emmaus 2 disciples, only one of them is named, and I don't even know who the hell he is. We still don't know who the hell he is. Okay. And it's a one-off story. Like, it doesn't appear in the other gospels. So I think it only appears in Luke. And so you have influential people start saying that Jesus is rose from the dead, and all of a sudden the stories of him being risen from the dead start to pop up. Doesn't mean the story is true. Like, I don't understand how some of these people don't understand legendary development, how quickly it happens even to today. I've told the story before as a Pentecostal preacher. We'd have people prayed for and they get healed. And suddenly I've got a rash of healing stories every which way but loose kind of thing. Like, they're all over the place. This happens all the time. Okay, so it shouldn't be surprising that suddenly you have multiple people claiming that they saw something. So you don't know that they didn't have the excitement. You have literally nonsense written on paper, not actually recorded, notarized testimony. My weeds no longer hold you up. There you go. Yeah. Just wanted to visit New York City all my life just to see Spider-Man. Yes, yes. More than one person. Prove more than one person. Yes. So there you go. There you go. But yes, prove that this is an actual historical story would be nice. That would be good. So there we go.
I'm driving a red Tesla down, what's a good street here? Valley View. And you said, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You were in a red Tesla, right? Yeah. And it was a rag top, right? Like a convertible, tan rag top. The top was down. How would you know that? If you could tell me part of my dream, that would freak me out because we don't have group dreams, right? So if you know my dream, it's probably not a dream at all. It's probably a memory. There are people.
Oh, that's a nice little switch there. It's not a memory, dude. It could be a shared common story and legend. Like, that happens, people. Like, it's not unusual for people to have similar dreams either. So yeah, it's a little sleight of hand there that he does. Like, he goes from, oh, maybe it's not a dream, it's a memory. Like, no, it could be a made up story by two people that decided to collab a made up story. Or it's a story that people heard when the gospel writers finally put this to paper that's been circulating forever. Nobody has any notarized testimony of how true this is. And so they just put it in the book. Like, you don't have, I've written enough fiction to know that I can make up a story that has two people that saw something in it. Like, yeah, it's definitely a sleight of hand there, but he like tries to turn it into a memory without any justification. Like, and he's missing the whole point because a lot of counter apologetics says doesn't have to be a group hallucination. You only have to have key people sincerely believing for whatever reason that Jesus is rose from the dead, and then they keep pressing that issue. We don't even have a statement in the Bible that all these people actually believed the story, even if they existed. So memory is mostly unreliable too. If he gave this defense in court, he'd be laughed out of it. That's the sad part. Like, if he gave this kind of testimony in court, the prosecutor would be embarrassed. Okay, like, no, that's not the way this works. This is what makes me think so much that he's a shill, because he knows better. If he was an actual detective and he knows that this is bullshit, he has to. Okay, and that's the problem with it. Like, he knows that this would never hold up in court. He has to. Okay, if he brought this to a prosecutor, the prosecutor would laugh at him. Okay, it's like, so yeah. Yeah, like, does that mean the tropes are true? Dune's a good example. When you look at how many times elves, for instance, are used in fiction, does that mean Tolkien's description of the elves and the Silmarillion are true? Like Like we have rabbits everywhere in our society. We just celebrated Easter with chocolate bunnies everywhere. Okay. Does that mean fangs is true? Like, like the logic here is just because people tell the same story doesn't mean the story is true. Okay. Like it doesn't mean it's, you got to do other things. You have to do other things. So, hey, during the burning passion, is that a joke? Guess the reasons. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, don't brown recluse. Yes, blasphemy. Yes, blasphemy. But yes, like we have rabbits all over in our societies. Does that prove Fangs is true? I have people on this channel. Cranky will tell stories about how Fangs stole his stash. Am I supposed to believe them just because he tells the story? This is the problem that I have with people in the Gospels. Is like they don't seem to realize these are stories. Are they verified? No, they are not. We don't know who wrote the Gospels for sure. We certainly don't know where they got all their stories from. We have no direct evidence of where they took their stories from. They're just a bunch, they're 4 people that wrote down stories and we don't even know who they are. That is hearsay in any court of law. If you tried to take a testimony, I got this testimony of this witness, and the guy says, okay, who's the witness? Well, don't really know. We think he's an eyewitness because of the way the testimony reads, but we don't know who it is. The clerk at that point would start to giggle, like, or get very angry. Like, you don't even know who your witness is? You want to enter witness testimony and you don't even know who they are? Okay, let's say they get past that part. Well, what's the source of the information then? Well, we don't really know where they got their sources when they wrote down their witnesses. Do you see there is a problem here? Okay. So, yes. Oh, and declare war. Okay, there you go. Oh, yeah, that. There was no way that if a witness testimony had all the characteristics that the Gospels have as testimony, that it'd get past any of this. It's nonsense.
People who saw Jesus who were in groups. 2 here on the road to Emmaus reported it for years afterwards. 3 Marys at the tomb again, right? All 3 see the same thing. How's that happening? There are 7 people at the lake who together saw the same thing. I couldn't even get them all on the same screen. I got most of them. Here's 2 more over there. There you go.
By the way, so I revealed the game and the magician's sleight of hand here. He's trying to overwhelm people, typical apologist fashion, with the numbers of witnesses. He's not spending any time answering the question, were they delusional? He's really not answering that. He's just doing numbers. This is pretty typical of most apologists. They'll just dump enough numbers on it, and if enough of it sticks to the wall, somebody will believe it. But yes, 3 Marys, yes. Wallace trying to convict a black defendant would throw this case out. That's how bad. Yes, it's that bad. Like, I am sorry, you wouldn't get this past the prosecutor. The prosecutor, are you serious? You have eyewitness testimony of somebody you don't know, but you think that the person's testimony has sources of good information, but you don't know what those sources are. Like, this would be so poor evidence. The Gospels would be so poor evidence in a court of law, it would not last. Okay, they would never get past stage 1. They'd be laughed out of the prosecutor's office. No prosecutor in their right mind would take a case based on the gospel witnesses. They wouldn't do it. You'd have to be in your wrong mind or a very devout Christian to do it. And then you'd find out how silly you are. Okay, so, I mean, they could have been tripping. They could be mass hysteria. And it's also not, Dragon Rider, it's not uncommon for groups to see the same thing. Like, we have modern day examples of this. There are several quote unquote miracles in the modern day of, like, the Virgin Mary appearing and a whole bunch of people seeing it. The miracle of the sun is another good one. that they like to point to. How could all these people see the same thing? It's not like we don't have examples of this, okay, where multiple people see the same hallucinogenic thing, like they have the same hallucination. Like that is not actually uncommon. And he's kind of poo-pooing it while I put all these little arrows with numbers on the screen, but it is quite possible for 7 people who really are talking about old times with Jesus, fishing with Jesus, and all of a sudden they all see Jesus. Is that a collective memory? Is that a collective hallucination? It's possible. Okay. It's not impossible. He's kind of trying to make a joke out of it. And it's like, it wasn't accepted. Yeah, we have modern day trying to make their myths sound more plausible. We have urban legends that crop up just with multiple witnesses that all say they saw the same thing. It doesn't matter whether the testimony is accurate or not, because even if they tell slightly different tales, the legend still continues. Okay, like Wallace doesn't seem to understand that these are possibilities. He wants to just hand wave them away with how many witnesses there are. Just because you have a lot of people in a room and a lot of people say they saw something doesn't mean that they actually saw something. Okay, we know that about human nature. So it's like, no. I don't care if it rains and freezes as long as I got my plastic Jesus. Yes. It's a good memory for me.
And then you have that group that minus Thomas. Thomas is not in the room. But you have the other, it's the 10, it's no Thomas and no Judas, but you have the other 10 disciples, all who see the risen Christ. How do you explain a group dream of 10? It's just too weird, right?
How do you explain the fact that you're still using the Gospels as accurate representations of what happened when you don't know who wrote them and don't know what the source of those stories is? Like, how are we doing that? Hey, hi, Evan. Have you been talking and I missed you? Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. I'm sorry. I got so many things going on in chat right now that I miss things, and I do apologize, Evan. Good to see you. There you go. There you go. Yes, for the Bible tells me so again. Don't worry, I'll play the jingle again at some point because it's going to be my summary statement.
And then you have Thomas returning, and with Thomas present, you have 11. 11 people. These groups are getting bigger. Now I'm not sure that on the mountaintop there could be more than 11. We know at least there were the 11. But it says the disciples of Jesus. Not sure if that's just the apostles or the apostles plus all the other disciples. They all saw Jesus on the mountaintop. Not even sure how many, but it's at least 11. And then they have...
Explain a group of 10. I don't know. How do you wave off the 11 witnesses of Mormonism? Yeah, like it's like there's a lot of witnesses to those golden tablets, as I recall, that, you know, Joseph Smith looked in a hat to translate to a friend who was sitting there. Yeah. You wave those off too? Oh, that's ridiculous. Well, guess what? Your stories are kind of similar. So, yeah. There you go. There you go. That's fine. I know you tease me. It's okay, Evan. I try to be a humble host. Sometimes you have to humble me. You do have to do that. So everything is just going. I try to acknowledge people when they arrive, but I miss people. These days I get so much in chat that it's hard for me to follow. I do get distracted by it though. So Bible jingles doing more work than JWW, yes. But yes, this is the only reason I'm using this is if I went to other apologists, they'd be saying the same thing. Like J. Warner Wallace is speaking for a lot of apologists here that use this argument. Like this is not an uncommon thing to just highlight the stories in the Bible with how many witnesses there were. And they never point out that perhaps the Bible stories could be made up. Like we don't really know that they're historical. Like, I mean, I'm sure somewhere in ancient literature, the many labors of Hercules are written out. We don't set them as history just because a lot of people in the story are claimed to have witnessed those labors. Like people must have saw them. So yes. All right.
That's one
so here we
scene
go.
that to me is so powerful, right? Jesus is about to ascend into heaven. He's surrounded by his disciples. I don't even know how large this group is, but it's at least the 11.
Oh, there were
And for a lot
12?
of us,
Okay.
we say we got to see a miracle before we'll believe. I bet you if you were in that crowd that day and you weren't even a believer and you saw Jesus rise into the air, you would have become a believer. Right? Would you agree?
I like to point out that even in the Gospels, this story isn't in every Gospel. The ascension into heaven is not in John. I don't think it's in Mark either. Matthew does it briefly at the end of his book, and Luke, I think, does it twice. Like there's, because in the book, I already waits till the book of Acts is where the ascension story is. So this story isn't even attested to. He's got the one thing up there, so I'm assuming it's only in one place. So it's like, once again, like I did my did questionable witness series, and I may pick that up again at some point because it's kind of my journey through the life of Christ and what I think about it. This doesn't even meet the biblical criteria of 2 or 3 witnesses for the ascension. So yeah, like there we go. There we go. Yes, there are 12 labors. But yes, like there's a lot of witnesses to the 12 labors of Hercules in the story. Should we say that those things were true because it has a lot of witnesses in the story? There's so many obvious things to be said about this that are criticism, but these apologists act like they're historical facts and they just never deal with it sometimes. So there you go. Yes, Jesus flies like Superman. There you go. I mean, he's also Jesus. There you go. Can you explain how the Hydra isn't there? Supposed to be about 10 labors, but the guy was assigning and Hercules added 2 on. Okay, that's fair. Asshole. There's always somebody who's got to add more work to your day. And where's that? Ain't the sky? I've been there. Yeah, we've been there. Like, I don't know where he's going. He travels skyward. You might just wonder where he fucking went. No, Stockline. Oh, the Yahweh's version. Oh, gosh. Tomorrow I'm supposed to adopt an adorable turtle that my neighbors can't keep. Okay. It's the quality of the witness that would matter, not the quantity. Yeah, but he's kind of doing it. It's the same. Like, look at all the apologists. I mean, they talk about how big Habermas's book is and how many citations it is and how many pages it is. They talk, Wallace sits here and talks about the number of witnesses. And yes, he's going to add the 500 in. They're infatuated with big numbers. The argument for the Bible, we have more manuscripts than anybody else. It doesn't matter. Quality is never an issue for the apologists. They will grab at any straw that makes their case. That's the problem. And it's been the problem with apologists for pretty much my entire life. Like, this is why I hated apologetics even when I was a Christian and why I thought it was just so poorly done. It's like you guys are grabbing at numbers and none of you is looking at the quality of the evidence. Is it good quality evidence? You're just, we got this story, we got that story, we got a number of witnesses, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care. Okay. Like, that doesn't prove anything. So, yeah. Hydra's not around anymore. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Wait a minute. Is Jesus ascended into heaven, or is there a firmament there keeping the water? No, Jesus. All valid questions, Felicia. All valid questions. So there we go. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, like this is the point they don't get, though, Fred. It's like 5,000 fictions are still fiction. The amount of numbers don't change the truth. So, okay, ascended. Okay. All right, yes, ascended. There we go.
There's some people in this room right now who are not believers. Did you know that? If you could see Jesus rise into the air, you would become a believer too, I bet. You want to see it? I can show it to you. You ready? Here we go. Get ready. This is a life-changing experience. Here it comes. Whoop.
And you know what? I'm not trying to be rude, but I think that actually countered his point, and I don't think he realized it. because the account in the Bible in Luke 24 could be just as fictitious as his little ascension right there. Yours will show you what? Oh, it's a life-changing experience to see Jesus ascend to the air in cartoon form 2,000 years later. Oh my God. I'm not sure that was the flex he thought it was. I really don't think it was.
Now, I suspect we should have a room full of believers. At least 11 there. And then we have one scene where there's 500 people on the same day who saw Jesus rise from the dead. They saw him alive after his execution. How do we explain that? I can't even count all these. I'll try to count these for you real quick. There's a bunch of these folks here. I got them all in there. I got them all accounted for. Plus a few more. There we go. Now we're good to go. Now, of course, if this is just a vision and they're wrong about this, they're mistaken about this, there's a way to prove they're wrong. Just run back to the tomb, because this is a vision and only a vision. There should be a body in.
Yes, it's the creed again. It is the creed again. Okay. I've made this point many times over. Allow me to illustrate it. I'm going to use Fangs for this one too. 500 people observed Fangs take the zygote from Marilyn Monroe that he created with illicit sex with her, go back in time because he was drunk. 500 people were there when he saw Fangs give that zygote and plant it in Mary and make her pregnant. And that's why he's Jesus's real father. 500 people saw that. What is the obvious questions to ask? Who are they? Where is their actual testimony? Anybody can make up a number. Anybody can make up a number and put it in a book. Anybody can make up a number and put it in a creed. I can have 500 witnesses to any event that's fictional just by saying there were 500 witnesses. It doesn't prove anything. Yeah. That's kind of 153 fish. Like, yes, people tell stories. Like the fish was that big. Really? No, really. So there you go. Yeah, I go to New York. Prove to me spider's not real. We're going to get into the tomb here in a middle because this is actually, I thought the 500 part was the worst part of the presentation. It gets worse. Yeah, we cheat on our wives not because it's easy, but because it is hard. Yes. Oh my gosh. But yes, like, yeah, let's just put arrows on. His argument is put arrows on paintings from the 16th century. Yes. Yes, the time traveling rabbit. I have many witnesses to Fangs traveling in time. And you go, well, that's ridiculous. Yes, and so is this story. So is the creed, if I really get real about it. Just because the creed says 500 people saw him at once doesn't mean it's so. What evidence do you have that that's so? Anybody can make that kind of claim. I don't understand gullibility at this level. I guess because I was like that when I was a Christian, a young Christian, fresh out of seminary. I realized that this argument is bullshit. Like, because I'm like, we don't have who they are, we don't have their testimony, we just have a number, and anybody can claim a number, anybody. So it's like, yes, real player, Laura Croft, yeah, like there you go. But here we go. We're going to get into the empty tomb because the empty tomb is such proof of the resurrection.
The tomb, but that's the problem. The tomb is empty. So what do we do with this? This is why Peter says, guys, we're not making this stuff up. Okay?
I love this part. No, my problem, Elizabeth, my intellectual faith was in trouble the moment I stepped out of seminary. Like by the time I got done with Bible college and seminary, the intellectual side of my faith knew I was in trouble. Like I worked so hard for 20 years trying to recover the intellectual faith that I thought existed. Like the apologetics was so bad even back then. It's like I had a lot of emotional anchors, like my dad's death. I had sunk cost fallacy. Like I just spent 6 years of my life, educating myself to be in the ministry. And now what do I do? Like, I got to go through with this. But my intellectual faith was in real trouble from the moment I was 25, 26. Okay. And it took a long time for my emotions to catch up. Like, it took a while for me emotionally to get the ability to let go. And, that's in my testimony of how I left the faith and all that stuff. You can always watch that. But it's like, I never bought the 500 witnesses thing ever, because I'm like, anybody can make up a number. Like, I can write in a story that 500 people saw the Lady of the Lake present the sword to King Arthur. Like, like, doesn't prove that actually happened. Like, it's like, yeah. So we're on a Tomb Raider run here. Yes, Temple Run, yes. But he's talking about the empty tomb. Now, which empty tomb? Like, there's several contenders in Jerusalem to this day of the real empty tomb. Which one? They just run to the empty tomb and get the body. This is such a bullshit argument. Okay, number one, even the story seems to indicate they hastily buried Jesus and weren't planning on keeping him where they had originally buried him. They just did it because it was quick. And they were all coming back to anoint the body with spices and move him to a different place and everything else. So the empty tomb doesn't buy it. Matthew tries to do the thing with the guard at the tomb. They're like, oh, they couldn't have stole the body because the guard was at the tomb, and they bribed the guard and all this other stuff. Once again, anybody can write that into a story, okay, like after the fact. It doesn't get rid of the explanation that the disciples could have possibly stole the body or hidden it, okay? So, yes, like, if the empty tomb is such a thing, why are there 3 of them in Jerusalem right now? Like, they don't even know where it was, even to this day. If it was that important to the early Christians, why didn't they mark it more carefully? Like, I don't get this part. So there's that. But yes. But then he's going to quote 2 Peter. Even very conservative Bible scholars have trouble with 2 Peter. They just do. So it's just,
We just saw it. I don't care if you like it or not like it. I get it that it's weird, but we just saw it with our own eyes. We touched it. We saw him. What can you do? We ate with him. We're just reporting what we saw. So is it possible that they were having a group vision?
Okay. I'll get to the little bait and switch you just did there a moment ago. But yes, this is the problem with 2 Peter. It's probably a forgery. Like, it's not really Peter writing. Okay, is there somebody using Peter's name and writing that stuff? And so he's sitting there using a forgery of somebody else to prove that somebody else saw Jesus, and it wasn't cleverly done. But here's another bait and switch, because he switched to the whole idea of group hallucination. A lot of naturalistic explanations don't need a group. Like Paul's minimal witness, Apologia's minimal witnesses does not require a group. It only requires 2 very sincere believers, Peter and Paul. Because Peter can influence the original disciples to believe that Jesus is resurrected from the dead for whatever reasons he thinks Jesus is resurrected from the dead. And he could have been delusional. He could have been fooled. He's got the whole list up here on the screen. And what apologists don't always realize, it's not just about the group hallucination. It's like there's cognitive biases going to affect. There's a desire for something to be true. There's wishful thinking. There's a whole bunch of psychological factors. You don't need everybody to see this. You just need everybody to sincerely believe it. And there's plenty of people that believe in Christianity to this day that have never seen Jesus. So it's not unreasonable to think that even back then that could also be the case. But he does this bait and switch of going back to the group hallucination. It's like there's a lot of naturalistic theories that don't have that. They don't talk about group hallucinations. They always want to come back to that because they haven't updated their resume about the fact that you only need one. You only need one person to sincerely believe they saw the risen Jesus for whatever reason and convince everybody else that they saw him, and the stories begin. And by the time you record them in the Gospels decades later, the stories have grown, and there are more of them. And so you have these gospel writers not only trying to get all the stories together, they're trying to put them in some sort of chronological order so they make sense. But they don't necessarily know that any of the stories are true. And the whole transcription issue, I notice how Wallace kind of like skips over this decades of transcription issue that he doesn't want to deal with. So this doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that Jesus rose from the dead. It proves a lot of incredulity. It proves a lot of misinformation. I'm sorry, it's very possible that they were fooled. It's very possible they were influenced by somebody like Peter, that the facts got distorted over the decades as transmission and stories were retold, so that by the time they get in the Gospels, the stories aren't even accurate. They only need one or two of them to be delusional. Confirmation bias, cognitive biases start to kick in. This is documented in any cult that we have modern today. You can see it. Why is it not possible back then? It's equally as possible. And then when you quote to me 2 Peter about we saw these things as eyewitnesses, like 2 Peter is possibly a forgery, as Elizabeth points out. You are literally doing the checklist of very bad apologetics that didn't convince me back then and now even convince me even less. Would somebody please come out there and try to prove the Gospels of history before we start pulling stuff from them? Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's really bad. Like, so which year was JC born exactly? These are all good questions that we actually have answers. So, I mean, they're less understood, but it doesn't mean they didn't happen. They're not written by the first pope. No, they're not. Yes, but he does this a lot. Like, he switched to the whole group thing, and it's like, no, I don't need the group thing. A perfectly plausible, like, I'm sorry, minimal witness typology is probably one of the best naturalistic theories that has come out in a long time. I speak as somebody who has studied them, because he points out, no, you just need one or two people to sincerely believe that they saw the risen Jesus, and everybody else just kind of going along with that. And then all of a sudden, other people claim to see it, and other people claim to see it, and other people claim to see it. This happens all the time in legendary development. You don't, with cults and things, you don't need everybody to see something. You just need everybody to believe it. And those are two very different things. And the problem, J. Warner Wallace, and why I think he's a shill, he knows this. He knows that on the street in detective work, you get legends that get developed just like that within days, that somebody did this and somebody did that. And he knows this is kind of the bullshit part of eyewitness testimony, is like, it gets off the rails very, very quickly. Like, he knows that in order to do this right, you have to separate the witnesses at the scene before they get a chance to talk to each other. With the Gospels, you have decades of people talking to each other, getting their story straight. So, yes, no group vision is needed. Okay, it's just part of the story development. So it's like, it's not a thing. So I'm trippy at 2 times. Are you sure that's not the drugs, Cranky? Just saying, just ask him. But yes, like, it's like the most common thing that could have happened to Jesus is he was put in a mass grave, in which case nobody could have accessed his body. This is something apologists don't bring up either when they talk about the empty tomb. Is like, if Jesus was put in a mass grave, how would you find him and identify the body later? Like, you wouldn't be able to. After a few days, it'd be impossible. Like, body identification gets very, very difficult when decay is very rapid. So, like, very quickly you can, especially back then, without modern forensics, modern forensics allows us to identify bodies through a lot of other means. But back then they didn't have that. How would they have been able to go and get the body or not get the body? Like it, yeah. So, whom of a person that didn't exist before the story and is never mentioned afterward. No, it's not. And so this, I'm not picking on J. Warner Wallace here, but this is the example of a lot of things that you will hear on Sunday morning on Easter or whenever the resurrection is brought up. The resurrection of Jesus is a cornerstone of Christian philosophy and theology. Without it, Paul is very correct in 1 Corinthians says, if Jesus isn't rising from the dead, then our faith is useless. And the problem I'm having with it, and the problem that I had with it back then, and the way J. Warner Wallace is presenting it here, is even I recognize that this is crap. And the problem is the people in the pew don't. Okay, like people who don't study this stuff don't. So yeah, like this is a big one. Joseph of Arimathea is a made-up character. Like that's a very real possibility. So what am I left with? I can't trust Wallace, because here we go. Like this is the whole thing. Yeah, that's it. Like he's totally representing the Bible here. He's not representing anything that's historically factual. He's just accepting. And that's the problem. Okay, now I'm not surprised J. Warner Wallace is still around. As somebody pointed out, Prophet of Zod had to take down the video because J. Warner Wallace threatened to sue. And that would have been a long legal fight, which I think Prophet of Zod would have still eventually won, because you would have said, hey, this guy's made this claim and he would have been able to document the claim. I'm just reporting that he documented the claim. And here's the other stuff on his own websites that kind of indicate that that claim's garbage. And I'm just asking questions. I think he could have redone the video and just, give me some answers to these questions. There's some discrepancies here. And I think he could have got away with it. And I also think he could have won the lawsuit. But that's an expensive proposition. So I get taking down the video. Like sometimes you lose the battle because you don't have the money. Okay. Like, and so there's that. But yes. And so it's like, I'm not surprised that Wallace is still around, because he's feeding everybody's cognitive biases. Like he is an apologist that uses his manufactured authority to engage in confirmation bias, and that's the way he's left. So, yeah, he hit a nerve. Otherwise, he wouldn't have threatened to sue him. Like if it hadn't been somewhat true, in my opinion, Wallace wouldn't have threatened to sue, because he would have been like, he wouldn't have cared. Like, I don't care what this guy says over here, but I think it was hurting his ministry. And the problem is the information is still out there. Like if you look at his, even his own site, he has, I think, a video of why I don't talk about my testimony that much. And it really is because he's given so many alternate versions of it. It's hard to sort them out himself. Okay. So, but yes, like this is just an example of many of what apologists do with the resurrection. They just assume that their claim is true. And it just happens all the time. And I think I could have a lot of fun with these apologists week after week, and I probably will. So that's not going to change. But I just wanted to do the video I actually planned on doing for Easter, because it's so common for apologists to make these claims about Jesus. We know he's dead because of the blood and water, and they knew death, and they knew what rigor mortis was. Nobody's disputing that. Nobody really disputes that Jesus died. Like, that's not the issue. Did he have supernatural powers that rose him from the dead? And then you run to all these stories in your Bible that are the claim, not the evidence. So, yeah. So good to see you. Merlin, Fred, Azzo. Look at all these people. Azzo's in my chat. There you go. Oh, I sound weird at one. You use 2 times to catch up. Is that what you're saying, Cranky? Asshole, this is a new record for how quickly I had to wear a hat. Like, now that you mention it, though, I do seem to remember in one movie I watched that a young lady was wearing a hat very much like this. She wasn't wearing much else. So there you go. Oh, but yes, America, yes. But this is like literally the fastest this crowd of mine has gotten me. I think it was like 5 minutes from the time I started the show till I was wearing the hat. Like, this is literally the fastest you guys have ever made me wear a hat. So thanks very much for that. That's not going to happen. Not going to do that. Oh, about 5 years ago, I'd be very confident doing a shirtless stream, but I'm not that confident. My age is creeping up on me. So, but yes. I don't think I'll ever do that. Just so you know. That movie, Love the Smell of Napalm in the Morning. Yeah, that's that guy wears that cowboy hat too. Band of service. Your Paul Fred stripper name. Oh my God. Oh, this is why I love you all. keep me smiling. So, needs to change the 3-strike system, especially given the Supreme Court saying that YouTube really doesn't have an excuse for a system unfair for creators. Yes. Yeah. I think YouTube is having to take that under consideration given the Supreme Court decision. The complaint I've always said where they're going to run into trouble is the 3-strike system from a copyright point of view. The problem is YouTube knows the fair use laws, and I think they got in trouble there too, but they still violate them. And so there's been a collective lawsuit against YouTube over this, and I've been waiting for the results, but yes, they're going to have to figure out a different system to do that, because I don't think that there is a clear copyright violation sometimes that people have. Like, this is the reason why my streams and all my videos start with a disclaimer now, is to avoid that, right? But they can still strike you if they think it's wrong. But the biggest thing I've always said is you can end all of that if the moment you give somebody a strike, you have to review it with a human being. Like, you have to, before you give a strike, you have to go look into it and investigate it before you give the strike. Like, this is something I've said for years. Like, assume your creator is innocent until you prove them guilty, and then give them the strike. But they don't do that. They don't always do that. So Teddy Valentino. Okay, I'm not sure that works. Daddy Fangs. Now, Fred, I'll give you that one. Daddy Fangs. Big Daddy Fangs. There we go. I'll even wear the bunny ears for that one. Can I copyright strike Ed because my comments are? No, you can't do that. Yeah, like, my biggest thing with YouTube is they've had a lot of knee-jerk they strike people very knee-jerk or with their algorithm. And it's like, no, I think if you're going to strike somebody and attacking somebody's livelihood on YouTube with a strike, you better have your ducks in a row before you do that. Like, you should have evidence that they actually did something wrong and then strike them. And have a human being actually review that. Now, that would require YouTube to hire a lot of human beings to actually do that. But, so there you go. That's Big Daddy Fangs. There we go. I think we have a winner, Asso. There we go. Yeah, so, but yes, like, sleep is always good. There you go. So that I am not that drunk, but because I didn't see the type stuff, maybe I'm really drunk and I need to go to sleep. Erotic is really good too. Is good though too. Yeah. Okay. Call it the Big Daddy Fangs, the erotic one. There you go. Put them both together. But yeah, like, yeah, I've had that. People have asked me if I've had that fear of being strike. I've never had a strike. Um, I have had 3 warnings where I'd used music that was copyrighted, and all I had to do was get the AI to take it out. And so I had one video that on J. Warner Wallace, ironically, that I had to pretty much edit completely out because J. Warner Wallace has he puts music in his background of some of his videos that's copyrighted, so counter apologists can't do reaction videos to him. So Eddie cited. Comment taken away because I might have offended someone. Yeah, I think that's another one that needs to kind of go. I think the whole offended thing is starting to offend people, that people are offended and that gets action. Like, I don't know how I can be responsible for everybody else's feelings about what I say. Like, I, if there's one thing that I would be glad to see go is, I was offended by their comment. Can you please strike their comment? Like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, you've given your creators tons of tools to moderate. Like, if I had a pre-supper come in right now, I've got enough mods around it myself to take care of that myself in the way that I see fit. I don't need YouTube button in there. So I really wish YouTube, I think what social media sites are now realizing is you provide a service, you're not a social moderator. Like, they're being told, hey, quit social moderating, okay, and start just providing the service and giving tools to the creators so they can moderate things the way they want to. And I think that's kind of what everybody's getting across to these people. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. Like, just because somebody's offended by your comment shouldn't give them the right to tell you to not comment anymore on YouTube. Like, they might be just saying that they're getting offended. Did you do an investigation to see if it was offensive? Well, no. And that's where YouTube is getting in trouble. They're initiating consequences without doing investigations. And their complaint is, there's just so many things that we'd have to investigate. Well, yeah, hire some people. It's not like you don't make money. Like, you know, so there you go. I care about mods. I don't know. Yes. Yeah. Like, it's the issue with moderation is, like, let's have the channel have its own moderating system. The creator have its own moderating system of what he wants and accepts, and quit playing Big Brother. Now, I get it. They don't want to turn this into, like, you porn or anything like that. And so pornography is an issue, but it's like, when it comes to comments and things that are said, just be a social media site. Don't just be a service provider. Don't be the judge. Like, it's like they're getting in trouble because they're initiating consequences before they've done an investigation. And really, they need to do the investigation before they do the consequences. So it's like, yeah, so it's become that issue. And so when I have good mods. I don't need YouTube staring over our shoulders telling us what we want to moderate out. Like, if a pre-supper comes in here and drops nonsense and you guys put him in a timeout, that should be sufficient for everybody. I'm not telling pre-suppers not to talk or that they offended me. You're just annoying me because you're not saying anything different. So, hey, all right, well, there you go. Can always watch this later. Yeah, I mean, it's not permanent, and I get it, but they still shouldn't be giving consequences to people without an investigation. It's been my beef with YouTube. The other beef is, I list my channel for adults. I should be allowed to use all the words. Like, I shouldn't have to say sexual assault. I shouldn't have to say, I shouldn't have to put a G and make it grape. It's like, we have words that describe certain things in adult language. We should be allowed to use them. Like, if I mark my channel for adults, let's talk like adults, and let's quit being childish and trying to moderate everybody's language. Like, it's like, no, I mean, I'm not Martin Trigger. I mean, yeah, and offended people are good for the algorithm. Like they get offended and they start typing like mad, and it helps my algorithm. Like I don't. I think YouTube there's a little bit of self-righteous moral judginess in a lot of social media platforms, that the heads of them, and it's like that's not your purpose. Your purpose is to create a platform where people can do their thing, and you make money because you provide the platform. Like that's what it needs to be. And moral judgment, social judgment, political involvement, you shouldn't be in there unless you want to do it on the side as a company. This is what you support with your money. But it really has the appearance of just shutting down or censorship sometimes. And I'm very opposed to that. So, yeah, we're all adults here. Yes. Possibly, Felicia, possibly. But yes, like it's one of those things that, like, I'm happy to talk about this today, because it's like I have had this beef with YouTube for a long time. Like we have a word for unlawful sexual assault. It's grape without the G. Let me use it without penalizing me, because that's what the word is for. Okay. So it's like but that term offends people. It triggers people. Well, then don't watch my show. Like, like be an adult and make an adult decision about, I'm not going to hang around people that use that word. Like, don't make me censor myself. Let the person take responsibility for what they're doing to themselves. It's like, it's a avoidance of personal responsibility that drives me nuts sometimes. Like, yeah. So there you go. If a room is rated adult or over 18, then should be the big talk is going on. And I don't need the language censored at that point. Okay. If I mark my videos and all my streams that way. I say, well, it's not for kids. I'm not going to keep teenagers out of here if they're older. Like I can't anyway. The kids know more about how to get past technological shit than I do. So yeah. I'm offended. Are you being offended? Yes. Like, yeah, it's what before Google got involved. Yeah, because Google is trying to cover their ass, and I get it. But it's like, no, I don't see the point. Like we've marked our programs, our videos for certain audiences. I should be allowed to use all the words in the dictionary if I want to. Like, and I don't know. It's always bothered me, and I think YouTube is being sent a message like you're a platform provider, you're not supposed to be policing. If you're providing a platform, let the thing police itself, because there's plenty of that goes on. Like we police this channel, like I've got my people with their wrenches and shields on them. It's like it's not like I don't have people watching what's going on. I trust them to do the right thing. I mean, I've got plenty of great mods here, so I don't worry about that part as much as I used to. Like when I first started streaming, it was kind of a worry because I didn't have a lot of good mods, and then that changed. And it's like, I think most of us, the majority of channels are very capable of taking care of themselves, of what they want on their channels and what they don't. And so please let me do that. So you're offended by all this talk about offending? Yes, that's the real issue, is age verification, Dragon Rider. You are absolutely correct. It's the age verification issue. Yeah, and that's the big problem, what we do with the data, all that stuff. And that's why I say, like, a lot of it is impossible to do. Like, if a 12-year-old kid wanted to get onto, like, a stream marked for adults, could they do it? Yep, absolutely. Okay. So what we're doing is, like, we're actually kind of appealing to the 90% of us that probably follow the rules to a certain extent. But there's always going to be the outliers that get there. I mean, come on, there's kids that watch adult porn that are 12, 13 years old. They get on it, they think it's cool, and they figure it out. Like, this is nothing new. I mean, my generation had Playboys under the bed at that certain friend's house that we'd all go to. It's not like, yeah, Earl kind of sums up some of us too. Who did I piss off? Who was offended? Can I do it again? Yeah, it's like that old SpongeBob meme. Want to see me do it again? Like, oh my God. Exactly. I'm offensively defensive about being offended. Wasn't there one? Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, but yes, like the notion that you're ever truly secure as a site, yeah, that's just not true. Like, that's just not true. Like, there's the technology is always bypassable. Like, there's always ways to get through things. Any hacker will tell you that. Like, they will tell you, yeah, you just got to find the right way, got to find the path, because information is useless unless people can access it. And so there's always a door, there's always a gatekeeper. Yeah, you could absolutely find anything you want to find and get into anything you want to get into if you know how. And so it's like, yeah, yes, Yahoo's been hacked. Sure, YouTube's been hacked. A couple of those glitches that we've had recently are probably hacker things. Like, it's not, that's that. So, yeah, like Discord, they try to keep people out too that are underage. And lo and behold, yes, Australia. I saw that story. Kids find a way to get in regardless. Like, it's age verification. It's the real problem. Like, it is like, how do you verify somebody's age online? You can't really do it. So, yeah. Yes, Opie the opossum never gets offended. Okay. You mentioned a possum, so I'm using it as an excuse to show Earl's artwork. Actually, Earl, you said this was like your first thing with light. It actually very well done for your first thing with light, trying to get the lighting right. Not bad. Could be, like all things. Yes. Sounds like your Wi-Fi, please. Okay. Sony's been hacked. Yes. Yes. PlayStation was hacked a big time. Like, there's, if you know how to do it, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can figure it out. And I think young kids actually have an advantage, because to us old duffers, like, this is new stuff that I have to learn in addition to all the old stuff I've had to learn. But to a kid, this is just the way the world is right now, and they can just figure it out. And they have an advantage of all that flexibility in their brains and all that other stuff. And they figure stuff out. Like, I've literally seen, like, some of my grandkids have journals with locks on them, some of the girls do. And I've literally seen my grandsons figure out how to pick the lock. I mean, it's like, it's not. So there you go. The Elder Gods Emissary has been a member for 6 months. Thank you, Cranky. I appreciate that so much. But there you go. Oh, it's not the first time? Okay, so you're just being more purposeful about the light on this one? Okay, well, I can see that. It's definitely well done. Like, if the candle is your light source, you're definitely doing the right thing. So, Ike Abe did an art thing, so I'm just going to show it. Oh, yeah, I suppose that's true, Felicia. That's true. That's true. Is that what Daniel looks like? I don't know. That might be an insult to opossums around here, asshole. There's some people in the chat that really like possums. So. There you go. So the only excuse I need, Earl, from now on to show your art is that Earl did art. So I need to show it. So there we go. We've reached that level with you. So there you go. They make great pets, true story. Okay. Bless Daniel's heart. Oh my goodness. You blush? You're blushing, Earl? Oh yeah, you do blush. I've seen it. I can't say that. I've seen you blush before. We have done live streams where you've blushed a very, very crimson shade of red. That's true. I don't know. He might be. The precept opossum and Opie might be diametrically opposed. So, yes. Yeah, I noticed that was pretty cool by Martin, too. Les Daniels' heart. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Good stuff, people. Good stuff. Oh. But yes, it could be the precept opossum is Opie's arch nemesis. That might be true. Yeah, we got so much more characters and lore to write, like there's always more lore to write. That, we don't have to even be consistent. Continuity, what's that? I don't even know what continuity is. I can make up stuff about fangs if I want to. And we can have all the possums we want going at it if we want to. So there you go. I've actually seen possums up close. So like I used to do a lot of walking on the rails to trails area around here, and every once in a while I would run into one on the trail, just wandering about in the early morning, and one of them was pretty grumpy. He hissed at me, and then he walked away slowly. He wasn't going to run because he was obviously too old, but yeah. Oh yeah, we can retcon the shit out of things. You started your transformation as a house plant. Oh, there we go. See, I'm telling you, I've seen the pictures. I have seen the pictures. I'm worried. The plants are taking over. Sooner or later, they will take over, and Earl will be turned into a plant herself. It will happen. It will happen. So I can see this piece of art. I'm going to enjoy that one too. But yeah. Yeah, but this is a good one, Earl. I really like this one. The fact that it might be nicknamed Daniel is also amusing to me. Oh, this is my patriotic cowboy hat. Although Asshole pointed out that he once saw a very similar hat on a stripper too. So, so there you go. There's that one, Robert. Yes. But yes, I bought this one last year around 4th of July because I needed a patriotic hat. I have several patriotic hats actually. So there you go. Oh, you got to have fun. You got to have fun, people. It keeps the world less strange and less stupid when you have a little fun with it. So, hey, John, there you go. Yes. Well, Elizabeth, that has been suggested. Is this a representation of Daniel? And all of us know who we mean by Daniel. There are many of us who have experienced Daniel. And so there you go. There you go. Almost in time. Man, I'm about ready to close down. I've been on for 2 hours. Stretching my limits at this point. My social battery probably needs to be recharged. I can neither confirm nor deny this. I'm having a great time though, so I'll push the battery. It'll hit the red. So yeah, well, Daniel, how can I explain Daniel? Daniel is probably one of the most annoying, insulting apologists I've ever run across, with the exception of Darth Dawkins. How does that say? What did the channel ignore? What do I think about the Ukraine or Greenland or Nate? I'm all a very live and let live person. You know, I feel, I feel, I feel sorry for so many people right now that are embroiled in stupid wars that could have been avoided. And I don't believe in invading sovereign nations. So there. Oh, NATO. Yeah, NATO's interesting. You know, like Trump's been griping about NATO, but I don't remember him consulting NATO before he went to war. So, and then all of a sudden he wants NATO to help him out. I'm like, you do realize that NATO is a defensive organization, not an offensive one, right? So there you go. Hey, I have a poli sci degree, and since getting it, I don't like talking politics because I've seen under the hood. I've seen under the hood. So like I don't enjoy it. But yeah, like I don't. There's some politician behavior that if it was in the context of our social life, we wouldn't like it. So there's that. Yeah. uh, yeah. Yeah, he's also known as Darwin to Jesus. That's his channel name. And if you want to watch some of the dumbest videos about atheism ever, go there because I've reacted to them. So, Patriot stripper hat. I think I'll do that next time. There you go. We'll do that next time. But yes, somebody did. And I had to agree that, yes, I have seen movies where a young lady in a certain organization has wearing this hat. She wasn't wearing much else, but she was wearing a hat very much like this. So, so there you go. But yes, like I don't know. Oh, yeah, except to take the blame. Yes, like they do that. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll put that under consideration, Robert. Yeah, like didn't KA, like the Kentucky Atheist, have us on one time when Daniel showed up. Daniel talked to KA for quite a while, and then Daniel went completely batshit crazy about things and rage quit a discussion. Then he later said he didn't rage quit the discussion. He just left because he had to go to church or something. And it's like, well, why didn't you say that before you did it? So your friends are talking about the book of Enoch and angels having sex with humans. That's always a great topic. Like, the problem is, I think that's kind of the entire inspiration of religious porn. Like, so there you go. Nicotine pouches, maybe. I don't remember. Just, yes. See you later, Fred, or allegedly Fred. There you go. Actually, folks, I'm going to kind of bow out too. I have not eaten yet, so and I've been up since about 5, so sleeping all day. Those lazy third shifters sleep all day, work all night. But yeah, I do have to go myself, and I would like to get something to eat, I think. How the spirits may be. You know what? I'm going to keep that for a topic because the book of Enoch absolutely fascinates me as how influential it is on early religious development. And it's very, very influential. So there you go. But yeah, boo, what do you mean boo? Boo. There you go. There you go. Yes. Earl's here. She's just, so, but yes, there you go. But yes, like what people don't know about the Book of Enoch is how influential it is on early Christianity. Like Christianity loved it. So there you go. Just ordered a pizza. There you go. Yeah, I'm hungry and I need to go get something to eat. So I'm going to call it a night. It's been a great time, good fun. I was glad to reveal the Presupopossum here. There you go. Uh, for everybody who's been enjoying that. Just a couple reminders before I leave. The last Friday of this month, I believe, or the 24th, me and Earl will be engaged in a discussion where she's going to try to educate this old man on feminism and the red pill. I think that'll be great. So I'm volunteering. So for that, movie night is tomorrow, I believe. Yes, tomorrow at 9 p.m. So you want to do that? That's Eastern. So a lot of things going on. ASO has a link up there too. So there you go. Yeah. There you go. So we'll see. All right. Yes, it's tomorrow. All right. Well, I'll see some of you then. See some of you there. Appreciate everybody stopping by. May Fangs nibble on all of your hearts. May he look into your non-existent soul with his big eyes and give you all the warm fuzzies you need from any religion. Fangs is simply the cutest deity there ever has been born. If only we had known what his actual behavior would be. Speaking of which, make sure you put a circumcised carrot on top of your stash if you want to preserve your stash from Fangs. It's kind of like the Moses, instructing the people of Israel to put blood on their doorpost, only a lot less bloody. So make sure you do that. It's a religious ritual that may or may not do anything like most of them, but make sure you do that. Fangs may take the circumcised carrot instead of your stash or both. But it's worth a try. It's worth a try. And thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Nam Nam, may he purify your vegetables with his pointy teeth from religious corruption. Nam Nam. Thanks, everybody. Like to keep the dirty parts of the tarot? Okay, there you go. As always, folks, thanks for stopping by. You only get one life. You only get one go around, and then it's over. So make sure you take all your time, money, and opportunities and use them to yourself. The people you love and care for to make this a better world. You'd be happier if you do. And don't waste them on trappings of religion and faith. That's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all again on Monday for another week of the Rabyd Atheist Show for a week-long thing. But thank you all for stopping by tonight. You might see me here and there around this weekend. You never know where I'll pop up. So just keep your eyes peeled. But I'll see you all later, and I'll catch you next time. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end to find out how you can support the channel better. Of course, there's always the more normal notions of just hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, and share the video with your friends and family that you think would be interested. That's always very appreciated. If you want to support the channel in a more tangible way, there's several options. You can super chat or super thanks in the comments or during a stream. Those are always very welcome, but you also can become a member of the channel. Members have certain perks like getting the videos early, things like that. They also have some good custom emojis during chat. So all of these things are good benefits to members, but they also support this channel and its work to continue to normalize atheism and deconversion, for which I'm very appreciative. It keeps me going, and it keeps me as a content creator being able to do more and more as a content creator. So if you choose those methods of support, thank you very much. And I appreciate you once again for staying to the end and listening to other ways that you can support the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll catch you next time.